Hello, welcome to the lesson. So today you're going to learn how to play Purple Haze by Jimi Hendrix. And Purple Haze was actually one of the very first songs that I ever learned to play on guitar when I was 9 years old. So it's a pleasure to be teaching you how to play it today. So it's going to sound like this. And then there's a gap, and then it goes, and then it's back into the chords, all right? Now, I know that sounds fairly complicated, but actually those notes are fairly simple to remember, so I think you're going to get on all right with this one. Now, before we begin, let me just quickly mention that I'm obviously using the distortion sound on the amp. So if you've got an effects pedal, or if you need to press the button on your amp to make it sound distorted, then you can do that now. Great, so let's begin. This first chord that Jimi Hendrix plays is a horrible chord. It's called an A sharp diminished. What that is a first finger on the 6th string at fret 6, middle finger on the 5th string at fret 7, and this third finger on the 4th string at fret 8. And you can look at the chord box if you just want to check that. And what you're going to do is pluck the 6th string, and then pluck strings 5 and 4, like that. Now you'll notice that when I plucked it, I used my palm to stop the note quite abruptly, like that. So it's, and then you're going to do that 4 times, so it'll sound like this. And this chord stays exactly the same. The only thing we're doing is plucking the 6th string and then plucking the 5th and the 4th string. That's how we're changing the note. Now, just to clarify about that palm muting, if I didn't do that, it would sound like this. But because I'm stopping the note each time, that's how you do it, okay? So you might want to stop the video and just practice that now. Now, here comes the first riff. Ready? Right, so what we're doing, using the 3rd finger to slide up the 4th string up to fret 9. And you're thinking, but where do I start sliding? Well, let me suggest you just start at fret 7 for now. So you're sliding from the 4th string, you're holding it down, giving it a pluck, and sliding the note up to fret 9. And then you're playing the 3rd string at fret 7 with your 1st finger, and then the middle finger plays the 2nd string at fret 8. So let me just demonstrate that. So you're doing the slide, and then finish on the 4th string at fret 7. Okay? Right, now the next riff goes like this. So what that is, I'm doing a little slide again. Jimi Hendrix always liked lots of expression, like slides and bends and vibrato. So you'll notice in these Jimi Hendrix solos, there's a lot of that. So we're sliding this time up to fret 5 on the 4th string. And again, it doesn't matter where you start, but let's just say from fret 3, like that. And then the 4th string open, and then the 6th string open, and then hammer from the 5th string at fret 5 to fret 7, like this. You know how to hammer because we learned how to do that in the free 12-part course. So you're plucking the 5th string at fret 5, and then you're hitting that finger onto fret 7. So that riff will sound like this. Excellent. Now what happens is he does the first riff again. And then he does that second riff again. Excellent. Now the next bit's different. It goes like this. So what we're doing there, we're sliding up to the 5th string at fret 7. And then we're playing the 4th string at fret 5. Now we're going to hold down the 4th string at fret 7 and we're going to do a bend. And what I want you to do is to use your 3rd finger there, use these fingers on the 4th string to help pull. Because you're going to do this, like this. Okay, you're going to bend downwards by pulling the strings, okay? Now that's quite tough, it's quite difficult on the fingers, it takes a lot of strength from your hand to be able to do that, but you know, you just practice it. And then once you've done the bend, you just play the 4th string at fret 5. So let me show you those notes. Okay, that's quite a tough one. I suggest you pause the video and just practice that for a second. And then he plays the 4th string at fret 5 again, 5th string open, 6th string open, and then 6th string at fret 3. So if we join those last 2 bits together, it'll sound like this. And then he does this. It's similar to before, but different. You're going to slide to the 5th string at fret 7, then the 4th string at fret 5, and then you're going to do the bend. But what you're going to do this time is hammer from fret 5 to fret 7 on the 4th string. And then play fret 5, and then play the 4th string open. So let me just show you that bit. Excellent. And you'll notice I'm doing, you know, wiggle in the string, vibrato, like that. Again, like I said earlier, Jimi Hendrix does a lot of that. So whenever you're holding on a note and sustaining the note, you can just wiggle it like that. It's kind of like a punctuation in music. Like when we finish talking, we stop. Like the end of a sentence, like a full stop. Well, it's the same, you know, you can just wiggle the string. And then it finishes, the very last riff goes like this. Slide up to the 4th string at fret 9, play the 3rd string at fret 7 twice, and then play the 3rd string at fret 9. All right, there we go. So let me demonstrate the whole thing right from the start in slow motion. There you go, that's that famous riff, that's the bit you wanted to learn. Right, so I don't just want to stop there, I do want to show you the chords as well. Now the chords are actually rather more challenging, not because they're difficult, but the strumming pattern. I don't know what to say, Jimi Hendrix was quite sort of relaxed and liberal in the way he strummed, you know. So there's not really going to be a specific pattern that I'm going to show you, but I'm just going to give you a basic strumming pattern to work with. And from that you can experiment on your own. So it's going to sound like this. Okay, so this is what we call the Jimi Hendrix chord, this chord. Because Jimmy was famous for using it and he played it a lot, and whenever you hear it, you immediately associate that chord with Jimi Hendrix. So the middle finger's on the 5th string at fret 7. The first finger's on the 4th string at fret 6. The 3rd finger is on the 3rd string at fret 7. And the little finger is on the 2nd string at fret 8. Now, that's quite a fiddly one to get the hang of. If you haven't been playing guitar long, you'll be thinking, oh my God, am I going to be able to do that? But here's how I learned it. I hold the chord down like that, strum the strings. Now, you're not going to like this, but take your fingers off and now put the chord back on. And just practice forming the chord like this. And you might have to do it 100 times, but eventually you'll get the hang of it. There's no easy way around it. That's the way I did it. I just practiced lots and lots, okay? Let me show you the next chord and then I'll show you the strumming pattern. It's the G. You probably already recognise the G. That's the middle finger on the 6th string at fret 3, the first finger on the 5th string at fret 2, the 3rd finger on the 2nd string at fret 3, and the little finger on the 1st string at fret 3. And if you want to pause the video and just check the chord chart, that's absolutely fine. These chords don't really sound very nice with distortion, but, you know, we are playing rock, then, you know, it's fine. If it was good enough for Jimi Hendrix, it's good enough for us. Right, now the next one's an A, and it's dead simple. I expect you recognise an A like this, but what we're going to do today is just use our first finger to lay flat across the 4th, third and second string, holding them down tight. And you'll notice my thumb is gently touching the sixth string, because we don't want to hear the sixth string, because if you remember, with an A chord, we're just strumming the 5 strings downwards. And by touching it, that ensures that we don't accidentally hear that string. Right, so let's join these chords together. So back to the Jimi Hendrix chord, I call it. It's actually called an E with a sharp 9 or something like that, but we'll just call it the Hendrix chord. Now, I suggest you strum like this. Pluck the root note, the 6th string open, twice. And you'll notice I'm using a bit of palm muting. Do you remember we learned that in the free 12-part course? That's when you gently touch the strings with the palm of your hand. Not too much, because if you did, it would just kill the notes. But we touch the strings right next to the bridge of the guitar, and it just mutes the strings. Like that. So I want you to pluck the 6th string twice, and then strum the chord. It's pretty harsh, isn't it? But it's meant to be. So... dong dong jang, dong dong jang, like that, okay? And do the same on the G chord, but only do it once. And then move to the A chord, and of course with the A, we're now plucking the 5th string open as the root note. That's the difference. So if we join that together, we're doing it twice on the Jimi Hendrix chord, once on the G and once on the A, like this. There you go. And you know, and like I said earlier, Jimi Hendrix, he strums up and down a lot, and you can experiment with that. But that's just a basic strumming pattern for you to begin with while you're practicing it. Okay. He does that round 3 times, and then eventually just stops on the E. So let me demonstrate this 3 times round, and then stop on the E. Just stop there like that. And I was doing an E power chord, that's the 6th string open, but I was also holding down the 5th string at fret 2 and plucking the 6th and 5th string. And you see that I killed it dead sharp like that. All right? Now at this point, he plays this. Right, so what that is, this is what's called an octave. We're holding down the 5th string at fret 7, and I'm going to use my little finger to hold down the 3rd string at fret 9. Now, the aim of the game is to be plucking the 5th and the 3rd string here, but we don't actually want to hear the 4th string. So how do we do that? Well, the answer is the back of the 1st finger is just touching the 4th string enough to mute it. So when we pluck strings 5, 4 and 3, we only hear strings 5 and 3 because the 4th string is being muted by the back of that finger. I know it sounds complicated, but if you just pause the video and practice that, I think you'll get the hang of it. So we're going to slide these notes up to fret 9 and 11 like this. There you go. And then we're going to go back to fret 7 and fret 9, and then move down to fret 5 on the 5th string and fret 7 on the 3rd string. So look at the tab if you just want to check that. It's going to go like this. And then what Jimi Hendrix does is the very first riff from the intro. Just those 3 notes. That's when you slide up the 4th string up to fret 9, then play the 3rd string at fret 7, and then the middle finger on the 2nd string at fret 8. And he does that twice. Okay, so if we join it together, we've got those octaves. And at this point, he goes back into another verse, which is the chords. And so on, he does all that round again. And then he gets back to the very same point. But this time, he goes one step further. Okay, now if you look on the guitar net, just so you know where I am, this is fret 9 here, so if you can just identify that on your guitar, and this is fret 12 on my guitar. Normally guitars have got 2 dots at fret 12, so yours has probably got 2 dots there. And we're going to do this, we're going to slide from we're going to slide up to fret 11 on the 4th string. So again, it doesn't matter where you start, but just start somewhere. like that. Third string at fret 9. And now, this may be tricky, little finger goes onto the second string at fret 12 and we're going to bend upwards. Now you're seeing I'm using all those fingers to help push. If you find that difficult, perhaps don't use your little finger, but perhaps use your third finger to do the bend instead. So, okay, so he does it twice like that. And then we're just going to finish by going. So what that is sliding up the fourth string up to fret 14 and then playing the third string at 12 and then playing the little finger on the first string at 15. Might want to just pause the video and make sure you're on the right frets there because it's quite high up the neck. So if we join those previous sections together, we're going to be starting with the regular one and then the new one and then the one we just did. And then we're going to finish with this. All right, and what Jimi Hendrix is doing there, he's using his third finger on the third string at fret 14 to bend upwards. And then he's putting his little finger on the second string at 15 and plucking them one after the other. So you bend and then you pluck the second string while the third string is still sustaining. So you hear them both at once. Okay, and that's as far as we're going to go today. At that point, you can actually go back into the chords again, all right? Because what happens after that point, there's a kind of solo which is very improvised and not very coherent, and there's not really much point in us sort of learning that bit because it isn't much fun. So I suggest you go back into the chords and then finish with the whole intro riffs, the whole intro section, and then you can just finish up there and just use your best judgment, perhaps finish on the E chord or finish up on the Jimi Hendrix chord. Okay? You have to remember this is a guitar solo, and a guitar solo in itself, without the drums and without the bass guitar and without, you know, vocals, kind of sounds a little bit bare. So we're kind of making the best of a bad job by playing it on our own anyway, all right? So just enjoy those riffs, enjoy playing it, and if you know a drummer, or perhaps you've got a drum machine or a friend who plays guitar and you can jam with them and one of you can play the chords whilst the other one is soloing over the top, then that'd be fantastic. All right, so thanks for joining me in the lesson. I hope you've enjoyed learning that, and of course you're going to have to watch this video several times and practice all that lots in order to get it sounding at full speed. And remember, you've got the PDF document that you downloaded with this video that you can print out, and it's got all the tab and all the chord diagrams, so you can have that next to you to help you along. All right, so be patient, be dedicated, go and practice lots, enjoy it and play it to your friends and family, and make sure you send me an email to let me know how you're getting on with this lesson. I look forward to seeing you soon in one of the other video guitar lessons and we can learn some more songs together. Okay, bye-bye.